Hierdie week op Mooi Frankryk kuier ek by Deirdre Winer in haar galery in die middel van Boussac. O, Deirdre, dit is 'n ongelooflike mooi ruimte. Hoe het jy dit reg gekry om dit so perfek te kon restoreer?
It took 3 years and it's sort of created momentum, you can't stop. It's just amazing to buy somebody else's rubbish, as they call it. It's somebody else's treasure.
Kom reis saam na die beeldskone hart van die Franse platteland. Hier het 'n merkwaardige groepie Suid-Afrikaners tuistes geskep. Alles van verlate plaaskure na middeleeuse kastele. Ervaar die uitdagings en oorwinnings wat hulle beleef het. Die rustigheid van die Franse leefstyl. En herontdek die onblusbare dryfkrag wat ons as Suid-Afrikaners toerus om hier in die buiteland ons eie klein paradys te skep. Toe ek in die laat 70s mode-redakteur van Sari was Deirdre Winer een van die land se topmodelle.
Hi.
Hallo.
Hi, Anet. Welcome.
Ons het toe ontmoet en vriende gebly en vandag, dekades later, kuier ek by haar lieflike galery en aanliggende wooneenheid in Boussac se middedorp. O, Deirdre, dit is 'n ongelooflike mooi ruimte.
Thank you, Anet.
Wonderlik om hier te wees. Ek ken jou vir soveel jaar, maar vertel my net, waar kom jy vandaan en hoe het jy hier in Boussac geëindig?
Anet, first of all, I come from Bloemfontein, a farm girl, moved to Cape Town at the age of 9, spent a lot of time in Switzerland, sort of 18 to 21, then came back and met Louis, and then I heard that he had this wonderful home in France. So my good friend and I decided to do a art course with him. And literally within 24 hours, we were just so happy to be in this beautiful village. It was just wonderful. And we literally said to Louis, well, we want to buy something here. We had absolutely no idea how spectacular it was going to be that week. To be hosted in their home and the stories, and it just felt so incredible. And I think that was basically what started that good feeling of why not? Why not try and find something?
So Deirdre, waar kom jou liefde vir mooi goed vandaan?
Well, my grandmother, she had exceptionally beautiful things, and I felt so good when I had all these beautiful things around me. And also one of my biggest influences in terms of things, interiors, antiques, layering, was the late Rolf Kral.
Ja, hy was 'n wêreldbekende beneficiële.
He was just absolutely phenomenal. And then another person who influences me a lot is Lynn McAdam from Block and Chisel. She's got incredible style. All these layers of influences and things. So it's growing all the time. So I started kind of, when I say collecting antiques or beautiful things, when I moved into my house in Cape Town about 45 years ago. And basically when I started the gallery, it was purely exhibitions, paintings, and then I realized I had all this floor space. And why not occupy floor space with beautiful things? I'm very fortunate. And of course I love going to brokants.
Ek weet jy is nou die spesialiste, mens moet sorg dat jy altyd voor Deirdre na die brokant gaan, want sy sien al die mooi goedjies raak voordat ons toe kom.
First of all, you want a bargain, and not necessarily bargain them down, because the people that have the brokants, that's their livelihood. But things are just so reasonable.
Maar die brokant is natuurlijk een van die wonderlike stokpertjies van Suid-Afrikaners.
It's wonderful. It's just amazing to buy somebody else's rubbish, as they call it. It's somebody else's treasure. A lot of people go to brokants and they come back with a lot of Tupperware. Everybody's looking for something different. The whole world can go, because I know I'm going to find whatever I want. And I promise you, I find treasures.
So Deirdre, hoe het jy hierdie gebou gevind?
So Hardy said to me, he's just got the perfect place for me. I looked at it and I actually envisaged myself almost loft living, because I've always lived on a property where I've had huge grounds, and I thought I'd just love to be in a building, living in a building, and don't worry about gardens or anything like that. But the tragic part was I didn't have any money. But I was determined to buy. So I literally had to dissolve 1 or 2 shares that I had, but it was in an appalling state. When we had to go upstairs, we had to actually just get a freestanding ladder and get to the next level. I mean, it was so dangerous even viewing the building. But I looked at the potential, and it really was, I just knew exactly what I was going to do. It took 3 years, this whole progression of building up the gallery, and it's sort of created momentum, you know, you can't stop. But I've now got to get rid of stuff, I've got to sell stuff so I can actually put more stuff in.
Ja, dis die lekkerte, dit is eintlik 'n evolusie en ek dink
Exactly.
ontwikkel ook self as 'n mens want jy is heeltyd besig met nuwe goed en jy sien nuwe uitdagings en as jy jou oë uitvee dan staan jy op jou knieë en skrop. En ons mans dink ons is mal, maar die vrouens wat hier is, het 'n geweldige gees van ontdekking en is braaf en ek dink baie van ons sterk karaktertrekke kom in die vrouens uit. Almal wat hier is.
I think we truly are living our French dream to come over and do what we're doing. And, you know, first time round, it was difficult, but I happened to have somebody who was interested in renting this space that we're sitting in. He was an electrician and he wanted to set up his office here. So Heidi and I did a deal and said, right, well, for 3 years rent-free, you provide me with the placo and the finishes on the walls and upstairs, provided it wasn't too much. I mean, that's how it started. It seemed easy, but it was difficult to get him.
Dit is 'n goeie reëling, né?
Absolutely, absolutely. The only thing that I did actually have to pay for is the renovation up in the loft. And there were absolutely no bathrooms. I had to put in 2 bathrooms.
Dis die moeilikste van die restaurasie.
Absolutely.
Is om die badkamers in te kry. Maar Deirdre, vertel my van daai verskriklike mooi muurbehangsel. Waar kom dit vandaan?
Well, you know what was interesting? The actual frame itself belonged to Jenny Rose Innes, and they were going to throw it out. And I took it out of their garage and put those posters at the back. Now, those posters represent a history lesson for young children. And what's actually lovely about them is I can take them off and turn them around. There's another story at the back of them. I love odd things. Kind of odd things, not just your regular things, something that's a bit quirky. Because I know if I see something, I've got something that's going to look so amazing with it.
Maar ek is seker van die goed wat jy koop, jy raak baie geheg daaraan. Dit moet moeilik wees om dit te laat gaan.
Well, it is. I'm a bit of a hoarder. I love to just live with it a little bit longer. If somebody comes in and I might have just acquired something I absolutely love and adore, and they want it, I'll just say, well, it's not for sale yet. I try and hang on to it.
It's a bietjie dink daaraan.
I have to hang on to things a little bit. A lot of things just don't have a price. You know, I'm not ready to part with it.
Jy moet my wys wat jy nie wil laat gaan nie. Iets wat vir jou baie spesiaal is en nou in die hart.
Okay, now there are certain things. I need to have things that anchor the gallery. So it would be those revolutionary prints and that whole frame. I've got a table there that I need to keep, that Chinese lacquer table. And my 2 tapestries, those 2 tapestries on the wall. As I say, there are really a few things that have to stay.
Hierdie plek is so wonderlik, maar ek weet dis nog baie skoonheid hierbo. So, gaan wys my.
Absolutely, with pleasure. Let's go. I just couldn't wait to get here and start a life.
Jy kyk daarna en dink jy, hoe het ek dit ooit reg gekry?
Absolutely, Anet. I mean, we've come a long way.
Bo die galery is daar 2 verdiepings. Een waar Deirdre slaapkamers ingerig het en heel bo 'n gemaklike leefvertrek en kombuis. Kyk net hoe absoluut pragtig is dit hier.
It's a beautiful space, you know.
Dit is ongelooflik groot en dit is so mooi gerestoreer, né? Al hierdie balke is soveel werk. Ek het soveel waardering daarvoor want ons is daardeur. Hoe het jy dit reg gekry om dit so perfek te kon restoreer?
Well, one's got to rely on the local artisans, but they're not always reliable. So that's actually frustrating, but it finally gets done. I mean, my restoration took 3 years. I spent a lot of time with Jenny in her home, so I'd still come to Boussac and I'd come and look at my domain, my wreck, my ruin, and we'd walk through and we would plan and we'd say, okay, well, let's do this, do that. And I think the reason why I actually bought this place, at least there were things that were done already. There was double glazing in the front shop, in the gallery, new tiles. So those sort of things I didn't have to deal with.
So die structuur van die huis was goed om
it was
te
solid.
begin.
And also, you know, it's a huge expense if you have to change your roof tiles. I probably would do it again, but I must say, anybody wanting to buy in France, or in Boussac in particular, find something that is almost renovated, or preferably renovated.
So daar is baie uitdagings, né?
There are huge challenges. I mean, once we've kind of completed it and it's all this lovely space, you've got to try and furnish it and try and squeeze furniture up these little narrow staircases. The piece of furniture behind me, that white sofa, I bought it because I knew it would get up these staircases by the millimetre. Otherwise, everything else has really got to be furniture that you can either take apart or start off bringing up cushions and then the other half afterwards. So it's a challenge, and certain things, if I don't want it, I'll probably have to just throw it out the window because I can't get it down the staircase.
Jy weet hoe lekker dit is as dit klaar is, en die lekker ding is dat jy mense kan nooi en hulle kan onafhanklik van jou wees want hulle het alles hier wat hulle hart begeer.
It's wonderful because I have a son in Australia, one in South Africa, and when they come they live here, and also just to share the space with friends.
Is absoluut wonderlik dat jy al hierdie foto's het, want jy kyk daarna en dink jy, hoe het ek dit ooit reg gekry?
Absolutely, Anet. I mean, I have these old references and we've come a long way. If you look at that picture, that whole corner was set up. There was a little room there. It looked like a little prefab. I mean, I have no idea who lived there, what was stored in there. But once that was removed, you could just see the expanse of what you could do. So there are a lot of things which have changed. I mean, if you look at that, that's the window and that's the Velox up there in the kitchen. They brought the ceiling down because beyond what you see, there's literally another floor up there. And I would have loved to have extended the beams to see all that area.
Maar dis jou volgende projek, Deirdre?
Perhaps.
So kom ons gaan kyk na die res van jou leefarea, want ek weet dis nog baie geheime.
That would be lovely.
In Deirdre se eie slaapkamer is haar gunsteling dekor sorgvuldig tentoongestel.
Quand je t'ai vu, tu m'as bien plu, tu ne disais rien, mais je t'aimais bien.
Hier is twee engele wat jou dophou elke nag. Vertel my hulle storie.
They were painted by my art teacher, and the best part was to watch her. She had to stand on a ladder, and she did 3. I've got one in the other bedroom as well. And I'm just so happy to be engulfed by these spiritual angels. It's just amazing. I mean, I'm just so peaceful. And then that's just a piece that I did some time ago. I happened to go to Boussac with Louis, and I saw this tapestry and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I said to Hardy, 7,500 rand. Definitely want it. Pulled me aside, he said it's actually 7,500 euros, which in hindsight was quite a lot. So I took a photograph of it and then I decided to copy it. It was exactly the same size, everything. So I thought, let me just copy it.
En Deirdre, daai verskriklike mooi gordyn van jou wat hier hang. Dit lyk asof dit uit 'n
I've got a lovely story about these. My friend Lynn McAdam, she was about to throw them out. I said, you know what, they're going to be absolutely great. I'll take them and I'm going to hang them in Boussac. My best part is finding stuff that people dispose of, which I find so tremendously exciting.
Toe jy die eerste keer hier aangekom het, wat was jou eerste indrukke van Frankryk en van Boussac en hoe het jy gevoel toe jy die omgewing begin beleef?
I just fell in love with the peaceful, sleepy village. Obviously, Louis and Hardy made it particularly attractive because they'd been here for so long. They were living their dream and then sharing it with all of us. So it was very infectious, and I just couldn't wait to get here and start a life. It feels so safe here. I mean, I know there are problems all over the world, but in Boussac, no.
Hoe werk jou dae? Hoe spandeer jy jou tyd hier?
Firstly, I get onto the phone and check whether everybody's okay, my friends, my family. Check in with my local friends. Yeah, and then we we go shopping and we go to Limoges, we go to Guéret, we go to Montluçon. We've always got something going. And then I open my gallery occasionally. I'm certainly not open every day, but I'll open anytime anybody wants to go in. I suppose it all sounds terribly mundane, but it keeps me very busy and enlightened. I should be painting, and I haven't picked up a palette knife or a brush for about 10 years.
So dis nou die tyd. Dis nou die volgende fase van jou lewe. So ons sien uit na jou skilderye in jou galerie.
Okay.
En ons gaan kom koop.
Dankie. When I saw it, I just had to have it and I knew it would be just perfect there.
Jy's nooit klaar nie. Jy's altyd besig met 'n nuwe projek.
It's not an investment, it's a life investment.
Deirdre is lief vir versamel en haar goeie smaak en fyn oog is dadelik sigbaar in haar sitkamer. Ons sit hier in jou beeldskoonhuis, omring met al die skoonheid en die mooi goed wat jy gekoop het en ek is so beïndruk met jou fyn styl en smaak, maar waar kom jou meubels vandaan en hoe doen jy inkopies vir die interieur van die huis?
These two chairs came from Main Road, Wynberg in Cape Town. This came from Main Road, Plumstead. That little sofa there comes from a second-hand shop in Cape Town. So that all came on the original container, except this one I bought last year. And when I saw it, I just had to have it and I knew it would be just perfect there. And as for the rest, it's just really brocante stuff and bits and pieces I may bring from Cape Town, which I want to live with.
Is daar nog iets wat jy sou wou byvoeg? Is daar nog iets waarvoor jy soek? Iets spesiaal in jou lewe wat jy voel, het jy nodig om hierdie huis heeltemal 100% klaar vir jou te maak?
I'd like to be able to create more of a safe living area, or rather some area outside that I can rely on, so that when it rains we don't all have to scream inside, because the other night it was a perfect evening until the rain arrived, and I mean there were about 12 of us trying to find a comfortable seat. So from that point of view I'd love to be able to just extend, but being an old house, it's a 17th century house, it's difficult to just add something on. It's not the right thing to do really for the house.
Maar soos ek jou ken, gaan jy waarskynlik die huis hier langs aan koop of die plaasie voor jou koop, want ek dink jy's nooit klaar nie, jy's altyd besig met 'n nuwe projek.
It's true. I mean, I've got my eye on the house next door. It's got a piece of ground that goes all the way down, and ideally I'd like to do organic veg, perhaps turn the downstairs into one huge kitchen and then just one bedroom upstairs. But it's crazy. I mean, I've got the gallery and I've got this, so it's just a pipe dream.
Soos ons almal ook weet, as jy 'n eiendom het met 'n tuin, is daar werk betrokke, maar hoe hanteer jy die tuintjie, want dit lyk so natuurlik en so mooi?
Because it's tiny, I kind of just let it go and it kind of works. The biggest problem is water. If I could just water all day long, I could, but there are water restrictions. And also what I'm trying to do is the existing trees, just let them grow absolutely wild to create their own shade. So I don't trim any of the trees at all. I let creepers grow up them, I let creepers fall down. No, it's very easy.
Maar weer is so spesiaal, want ons sit hier en ons hoor absoluut niks behalwe die voëls en die bome nie. So ek dink jy het vir jou 'n lieflike klein paradys geskep.
No, I truly have. I mean, my first priority in the morning, right about 8 o'clock, I mean, the birds are already calling. They're calling, and I feed them every single day without fail. And I mean, they're really so tame. You just hear them whirring past, the wings. You can hear them just flying left, right and centre, all these little wings fluttering, waiting to be fed. So I look forward to my birds in the morning.
Maar ons sien uit na die ontwikkelinge, want ek weet dit gaan gebeur, want soos ons vir Deirdre ken, altyd besig met 'n plan.
Un air d'accordéon comme autrefois, un bouquet de roses dans tes bras, les roses d'autrefois.
Ons sluit die dag af in Deirdre se tuin, waar mense hierdie laat somersaande kan verwyl met 'n glasie rosé. Deirdre, wat het jy van die Franse geleer?
Kos. And I think we bring a lot to the French. They don't entertain like we do, So when we have them over, we actually sit down, we have a lovely meal, whereas, you know, they provide just the bare essentials and you're there for an hour. When we entertain, it's hours, which I don't know if it's a good thing. I think I do more entertaining in Boussac than I do back home. So it's fun just to be in that kitchen, have everybody enjoying themselves outside, and it's contained. I love the contained space. So it works.
Ek dink hulle waardeer wat ons reg gekry het, want ek dink hulle die ouer mense veral hulle is nie meer lus vir die moeite nie. En hier kom ons en ons rol ons moue op en ons maak mooi en ons maak tuin en ons verf ons plek, en ek dink hulle is in verwondering.
I really do think so. In a way it's impacted them and it's given them a new lease of life, just seeing what we do.
Maar jy speel 'n groot rol in hierdie gemeenskap en in die groter Boussac omgewing met jou kunsgalery.
I would like to think so. What I would like to do is to affiliate my gallery with perhaps a gallery in Paris or Berlin and just share a common interest representing South African and international artists, and hopefully they too will reap the benefits.
Jy het nou vir jou hierdie wonderlike plek geskep vir jou familie, en ek dink dit moet heerlik wees vir jou familie om te kom kuier, maar wat is jou langertermyn, jou toekomsplanne?
Initially I bought here not as an investment, because one puts in a lot of money to actually create this beauty. You know, my husband would say, oh, well, you'll never get your money back. So I said, but I don't want it back. I have actually created a lifestyle for you and the family and friends.
En vir die kleinkinders.
En die kleinkinders.
So, wie dink jy gaan dit ook geniet om hier te wees? As jy nou hierdie plek kan deel, wie is hierdie mense?
And listen, I do have friends back home who would ideally adore to be here, but it's just a matter of the affordability, and I think that I certainly was fortunate enough to acquire my property when the rand was 10 to 1. It's now a bit different, but it's not an investment. It's a life investment. It's a lifestyle investment, and I think that's important.
Maar kom ons drink nou op.
Vive la France.
Vive la France. Cheers.
Cheers.
Droom jy van jou eie chateau in die Franse platteland? Dit verg nie net harde werk nie, maar goeie finansiële beplanning. EasyEquities is 'n beleggingsplatform vir almal. Jy kan self jou geld belê of die besluite toevertrou aan batebestuurders soos Satrix, Anet of PSG. 'n Rekening is verniet en enigiemand kan geld belê in lande soos Suid-Afrika, Amerika, Brittanje, Australië of die Europese Unie. Dis 'n maklike en veilige plek om jou geld 'n goeie kans op groei te gee. Maak jou wêreld mooi met EasyEquities.